All right, fair use, fair use. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Walrum. You're back with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahab, Rakakodash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, a great millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 men of the Lord you see on the highways and byways, prophesying in the name and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, also in the correct doctrine. I want to send a shalom to the one-third men, women, and children that will escape the judgment of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai by their faith. As you see on the news, pretty much they're talking about the Insurrection Act, which they're seeing, which more likely DT is going to call for Insurrection Act to be implemented, which is pretty much martial law. It says if you've gotten the Insurrection Act, it says you can put federal troops in polling stations and it will drive down turnout. So we know that this is one of the things that he wants to do because the midterms, they're not going to win the midterms, and I think it's later on this year. But the point is, they have troops already on deck to bring into Minnesota, which they started now. It's pretty much like a pilot place to bring in this new, not new, but bring in this Insurrection Act. And they're basically plotting to get the people roused up to come against the ICE troops and pretty much the government, man. So let's check this out.
Essentially, Trump, I think it feels like, is trying to bring to a head a clash. And we've seen this so often. If he can get protesters angry enough to start attacking the ICE agents, then he gets the place where he can say, well, clearly there's disorder in a state of emergency. We need riot police. We need federal agents. We need the Insurrection Act. This all plays into the Trump playbook perfectly, which is, look at all this chaos on the streets, something must be done.
It's almost like Donald Trump is trying to engineer the need to have the Insurrection Act imposed. Because if the Insurrection Act is imposed, it means that he has got the right to send federal troops anywhere he likes. He can override any state governor, any city mayor he likes. He puts those troops on the ground. November sees the midterm elections, and it's an elections that the Republicans really can't afford to lose, because obviously, if the Democrats have suddenly got control of the House, they're going to launch investigations, the subpoenas will be flying, potentially more indictments. Life is going to become really uncomfortable for the Trump family, for Donald Trump, and for those around Donald Trump. So if you think you can't afford to lose the elections, what you can do is you can't cancel them, but if you've got the Insurrection Act, you could put federal troops in polling stations in certain areas where Democrats have to win and have to win big, and it will drive down turnout. And so when we saw, just as we came into the studio, that Donald Trump was threatening the Insurrection Act and invoking it because of what is happening in Minneapolis, I could not have been less surprised.
And see, this is not a game, man. He know that, like he said, if they was not to bring in these troops, then they won't be able to, they'll basically be able to vote him out. But he's going to start a war before then. As you see here, let me put it up. This is the headlines the day in yesterday. Because Pentagon readies 1,500 troops for potential Minnesota deployment. And this is all over the internet, man. Army puts 1,500 troops or soldiers on standby for possible deployment, AP sources say. So these troops are already prepared, and you got the New York Post as well. So these troops are already prepared to go in. And this is the reason why they're stirring up chaos in that area, man. As they send this dude, Jake Lang, which is I guess they call him a far-right white supremacist, to that area. And see, they're not getting Jake to turn out and turn up. And Esau, they're not worried about Esau, the Edomites. They're not worried about Edomites basically stirring up chaos because they're not the target. Now, check this out.
Fear someone's control me, can't get to me, I A few moments later.
They see all the chaos that he stirred up, but Jake is the one helping him, and that's who he pretty much hates. But you see that that 2/3 of our people are going to be judged, man. They don't get it, and they will never get it until they come back. And see, this is what they want. They want Jake to turn up and act, pretty much sow a lot of chaos and go against the ICE troops. But they're not getting what they're thinking they was going to get by killing this woman. And see, Jake has not had that spirit right now. The Lord gonna have to turn Jake up for them to basically tear this motherfucker up. But that ain't gonna happen the way Esau's planning on doing it, because they're not. They don't have no skin in the fight, man.
People, they told them Somalians don't fuck with us when they came over here. That's why they don't fuck with us, and we don't fuck with them. You notice we ain't trying to help them cocksuckers. And then look at all the money that they stole. Look at all that $9 billion, and then put nothing in the community. Fuck them Somalians. It's just like George Floyd. His stupid ass family got $20 million, and they didn't even build a community in the city. They just left with the money. Fuck George Floyd too. Put all that shit on to whatever you filming. Put that shit out there, because that's how it go. When you don't fuck with the community and help the community, fuck you. They took that money and left. Now look at them. They all broke. They got tricked out of all that money. They ain't got shit right now today. Or for 20 million. Come on, man. Quit playing with the game. All this shit is a farce.
And see, that it goes to show you that Jake ain't. He's like he said, he ain't got no skin in the game. We don't care nothing about that. But they're gonna terrorize the northern tribe to get them to respond, because those so-called blacks that they're taking is Somalians, man. They're Hamites. They're not Israelites. They're not Jake. And that's why he said we ain't fucking with them. They don't fuck with us. They ain't fucking with them. Which they're a whole nation, another nation of people. But they portray it online like it's so-called Negro, which that's over with, man. Nobody is falling for the stupidity that's been put out there, that propaganda that's been put out there. They know for a fact that they are not our people, man. And they're not going into helping them and fighting for them and none of that, man. And this is what they're stirring up, trying to cause an insurrection act to be put in place. But no one is going against the system. And this is why they're terrorizing the people, man.
Good, sir. All right, coming in. Okay. Nobody made it into this room, right? Anybody made it? All right, let's read it real quick. Is everybody good? Give me a thumbs up. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Nobody made it in this room, right? Yes, sir. All right. All right. Stay where you're at. We're gonna have officers outside, okay? Okay.
And see, it's just that's the way you terrorize a community of people, man. This would traumatize them kids in a way that you probably wouldn't think it would. But to see the image of guns told and guns drawn, pretty much putting you a place of fear. And that's what it's all about, man. Because no one is going. No, they're thinking that everybody was going to rally behind this woman. Good, I forgot her first name, and come against the system. But no, Jakes care about that, man. That's normal to us. Getting put to death, and that's normal, man. So this is not going to stir up the people in the way that they thought it would. Because when they do it, this guy's going to pretty much lay the foundation of what happens when they do bring in the Insurrection Act.
If the Insurrection Act is enacted, this is what you need to do immediately. Now, share this with everyone, because if you've been paying attention, you already know how close we are. The full breakdown is over on YouTube. When the Insurrection Act is invoked, normal life doesn't change, it ends, and fast. Curfews, checkpoints, federal authority, military presence, the first hours decide who keeps their freedom and who gets swept up. Now, this isn't speculation. The president is openly considering the Insurrection Act for the second time in a year. That alone should tell you everything you need to know. Let's get into it. First is trust no one. Fear turns people into informants overnight. Neighbors talk, coworkers repeat things, and families crack under pressure. That's when your words end up twisted. Silence keeps you safe. The less you say, the less damage can be done. Second is blend in or get noticed. Being loud, opinionated, or visibly prepared puts a spotlight on you. And spotlights equal scrutiny. Look ordinary, act compliant, stay forgettable. The people who draw attention don't control what happens next. Third, protect what keeps you alive. Food, medicine, fuel. If it's obvious, it's vulnerable. Scarcity makes people bold, and authority moves fast when resources are visible. Quiet preparation beats visible stockpiles any day of the week. Fourth on the list is stay away from the enforcement zones. Checkpoints, patrol corridors, and protest areas are pressure points. Every interaction increases your risk. If you don't need to be there, you should not be there. Stability comes from staying put and out of the flow of danger. Fifth is never volunteer information, ever. If something isn't required by law, then it doesn't need to be shared. Oversharing turns into problems, documentation, conversations, admissions. They all have consequences in these moments. Here's the reality no one wants to admit. The Insurrection Act doesn't restore calm, it asserts control. And the people who survive aren't loud, brave, or confrontational. They're quiet, disciplined, and invisible.
And see, he pretty much laid out what would happen if they did bring in the insurrection. But this is not enough, man. And him just bringing in the Insurrection Act is going to seem pointless because the people are not coming against the system. And the crowds I've been seeing on the news, the crowds are not even going out there anymore. So they're going to need a major false flag to get the people roused up. That right there with the good lady, that's not enough, man. The people that spirit has already died down, and bringing troops in they're looking for something like what's his name, Rodney King. When Rodney King got beat by the police, I think that's the last time they brought in the Insurrection Act because of Rodney King. They was tearing the place up, man. But they're looking for a false flag like that, and they're not getting it. So they're going to continue to pry at the people and continue to stoke fear and stoke these threats against the people, man. This is Psalms 94 and verse 20. It says, "Shall a throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?" So they're framing to do wickedness by a law that they're putting together, man, which is Insurrection Act. It says they gather themselves together against the souls of the righteous. And that's what they plan to do, gather themselves against the souls of the righteous. Because they want Jake, man. This is the time of Jacob's trouble. It says, and condemn the innocent, and condemneth the innocent blood. But Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is my defense, and my power is my power is the rock of my refuge. It says, and he shall bring upon them their own iniquity. See, the Lord is going to bring on them their own iniquity, man. They're setting a trap for their own feet to fall into. It says, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. See that? The Lord is going to cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, our power shall cut them off. And this is what's going to happen to Esau, man. He's going to get cut off. But he feels like he is at the top of his NWO, man. He think he's the top of bringing it in, man. He's at the cusp of bringing it in. He got everything put in place, man. This is Isaiah 10 and verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may may rob the fatherless. And that's what they're setting up 2/3 of our people. The widows and the fatherless, man, to come down with great wrath on our people, man. It says, and what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from afar? And this is what's going to come afar, man. The destruction on our enemies, man. It says, to whom will ye flee for help? And see, Esau's not going to have any help in that day. He's not going to be able to play the victim anymore. It says, and where will ye leave your glory? And his glory is going to be stripped away, man. Everything he set up, he's been prospering and growing and doing everything he wanted to do in the earth, and it's soon to be taken away right before his eyes, man. It's going to be stripped away. And we seeing that this thing is being set up to come against Jake, man. The Insurrection Act is to come against you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, man. This is Micah Slakia. This is Micah 2 and verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. See, they're planning this out, man. They're trying to see how can I get Jake roused up so I can come against him. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And they have the power to do what they want to do to the people, man. They have everything set up. The NWO is set up, man. The MOTB is set up. They're trying to find a way to bring it in that won't cause so much chaos. Because they know the dollar has to crash before they bring in the MOTB. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. See that? They take them by violence, man. They take what they want. It says, in houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his own heritage. It's like in his own. And even a man and his heritage. It's like I said, even in his own heritage. So this man is continue to set up different snares and traps to get you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans off your feet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just to get you off guard, man. They're trying to catch you off guard when you were not paying attention, man. That's why he's saying now everyone has to carry their papers with them. And it's only for you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. It's a bunch of Edomites in different nations that are not a dark-skinned nation or brown-skinned nations that are here illegally in America. There's so many people that's here illegally, but they're only targeting you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, those that are dark-skinned. And this is the reason why they know who you are. And they feel like if they can get you to come and submit to them, then they have the Lord. The Lord, basically, I'm assuming, I don't know exactly how they feel, but you're gonna think that they can overcome the Lord if they have His people, and they have them just like Pharaoh. The Pharaoh wouldn't let his people go, and then he brought a judgment on them. That's how the same purpose Esau is setting up, to stir you up and have you in so much fear that you're gonna take it MOTB. You can see this is clearly the way he's setting this thing up, because he knows the people are going to bow down to him, man. And he's setting it up so they'll fear and not question what they're doing, man. Just like it did when the CV-19 came out, the jab. Verse 3, it says, therefore, thus say Yahweh Shem Yahushua, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your neck. See that the Lord's setting up a judgment that he's not going to be able to get out of. Neither shall he go hauntingly, for the time is evil. See, Esau's being set up, and he's not going to be able to get out of it. He did so much wickedness in the earth, he feels like it's never going to come to an end. He's not going to accomplish what he is seeking to accomplish, man. Psalms 2 and verse 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? And see what he's planning on doing, it's vain, man. It's not going to be accomplished. He said the kings of the earth set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against Yahweh Shem Yahushua and against his anointed. And that's what he's planning to do, man. Come against you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, you Israelites. Like I said, he's going to He's going to be to the point where he's going to think he's able to fight against the Lord. But he's set up in a great snare, man. It says, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast their cords from us." Like it. It says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. See, the Lord is going to laugh at him when he feels like he has his NWO set up. That's when the controller going to be slapped out of his hand. Verse 4, it says, "He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall have them in derision." See that? He's going to have them in confusion. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. See that? He's going to judge them in his wrath, in his sore displeasure. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua is a man of his word. He's going to do exactly what he said he's going to do, man. And we're in the times that the Lord is setting Esau up to come against the children of Israel in the prophets of the Lord for him to send Yahushua back. This is Job 26. And Job 20. Let me get this in NLT. No, that ain't Job 26. I'll skip that one. Let me get this. Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 8. Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 8, and it says, "He that diggeth a pit shall fall in it." See, Esau's digging a pit for his own feet to fall into it. "He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh an hedge, a serpent shall bite him." And Esau's going to be bit by this serpent that he's setting up to bite others, man. So he's digging a pit for his own feet to slide into, man. And it's a beautiful thing that we're seeing it right before our eyes. The Lord setting this thing up perfect, man. Let me get Proverbs. It's Proverbs 26, I said. I got Psalms written down. It's Proverbs 26. Let me get that in the NLT. This is Proverbs 26. And 21, it says, "A quarrelsome person starts fights as easily as hot embers light charcoal, or fire lights wood. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. Smooth words may hide a wicked heart." See that? Smooth words might hide a wicked heart, just as pretty glaze covers a clay pot. People may cover their hatred with plenty words, but they are deceiving you. And that's what we know for a fact. Esau's setting this thing up to come against Jake. And he's coming against the northern tribe, but he sets it up like he's not going to come against you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans that are considered citizens. This is all smooth words he's saying. But don't let him deceive you, man. This is clearly what we're understanding, that don't be deceived, man. This man is not your friend. Verse 25, it says, "They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them." See that? They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. We see the trap that he's setting up. It says, their hearts are full of many evils, while their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. See that? Their wrongdoing is being exposed in public. So the prophets of the Lord are telling you and warning you, get prepared, man. They are finna come in like a flood, man. And it's for you Israelites, man. Even though you don't know you Israelites, it's for you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, man. 27, it says, "If you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself." And that's what's going to happen to Esau. He set a trap for others, but he's going to get caught in it himself. "If you roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead." And see, we know that the things Esau's setting up is going to happen to him. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering words cause ruin. See that? And flattering words cause ruin. So, you got Jake trying to please Esau. And I had this video. Let me play this, man. He want to please Esau. He repent for everything he said, and not knowing that Esau is set up to come against him, man. Let me see if I got that real quick. There's so many videos. I'm trying to save them to do lessons on them. There's one video that I had. Oh, got it. There you go. And these Jake's trying to please Esau, man.
Publicly repent for all the stuff that I said about Donald Trump, because after watching this video, I believe this pastor is right. Don't say anything negative about the president. Just pray for him. Because God is using that man outside your understanding. You can only understand Donald Trump if you read the Old Testament and see how God used prophets to destroy. So guess what? On one side, Donald Trump is doing God's will, while at the same time, he's also producing the very vengeance that's going to cause people to attack us in the future. But it's ordained that way. Okay? They are dancing so much in Nigeria because Donald Trump went over there for one reason and brought it with the United States military. He said, "Oh, you want to kill Christians? Wonderful. We're going to kill you." And we sent a bunch of military people over there, and they just started knocking down terrorists like you do at the bowling alley. He said, "This is return for what you're doing to Christians." So the Nigerians are dancing. Then I woke up this morning and found out that Donald Trump then bombed Venezuela and kidnapped the president and his wife and brought them back to America. I was like, what? Do you realize how crazy this is? Your president said, y'all won't stop with the drugs over here. And I have known for decades. He gave him a chance. He said, okay, stop. We first gonna start bombing your boats. How you know for the last few weeks our military have been bombing all the boats bringing drugs to America, killing your kids. They want evil in this country. They want drugs to keep it systematic. Never mind. They said we have overwhelming evidence that the president of Venezuela was in cahoots with the drug dealers, pouring drugs into America. That is not something that you do. Is you break into another country, bomb the man's home, and you take the president and his wife of Venezuela and then put them on a helicopter and bring them back to Brooklyn. This is crazy. But guess who's rejoicing? You want to know who's rejoicing? The Venezuelans. So that should tell you something. Why is it every time, all the people talk about this man, but every time he does something, the people rejoice. And so you're making decisions based on emotions of what you think. You're not making decisions based on how God uses men. When you see how God is using this man, he fits so easily into scripture when God gets ready to judge evil. And the men that he always uses to judge evil are always crazy.
See, he using him to deceive the people. Because it's clueless. He don't have a clue what's going on in geopolitics because none of the people are rejoicing. This goes to show you that these pastors are set up to not come against the system. And we just read the scripture right here. Proverbs 26 and 24. It says, people may cover their hatred with plenty words. And see, he's watching CNN and Fox, thinking that they are having his country in a good light, that they are doing something that's benefiting him as a Christian or American, and he's not even a part of the agenda that they're bringing in. He's just a puppet head that's going to be destroyed, man. People may cover their hatred with plenty words, but they're deceiving you. See that he doesn't understand he's deceiving him, and he's also deceiving the people that he's teaching that believe this man is a man of the Lord, man. See that the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is with the men of the Lord that's on the highways and byways teaching this truth, man. It's not in a building, man. 25 again, it says they pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. And see, we're being warned not to believe our enemies, man. Their hearts are full of evil. See that? Their hearts are full of evils. And he don't understand that DT is setting him up to be judged. And he's not going to have any protection, man. It says, while their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. See, that guy's gonna see that he's deceived, man. And them devils gonna put him in one of them camps or judge him right on the spot, man. And see, we understand that this thing has to happen this way because it's biblical prophecy, man. And if you can't understand that, man, it's not meant for you, man. This is Isaiah 59 and verse 19, man, because this is what's being prepared. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Because Esau is planning to come in like a flood, man. And you blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans are not prepared, man, because you don't know the Lord, man. You don't fear the name of the Lord, man. Because the ways that you've been taught here in Babylon the Great, you stuck with them. You didn't seek the Lord for yourself. You just saw what your grandmother, your mama, your daddy put before you, man. And the spirit is not with you, man. So a lot of our people are going to see the Lord is going to judge them in very horrific ways, man. So Lord, with them, Zedify, I'm in it there. Shalom. Shalom.